Good afternoon. Thank you. Yeah, welcome to Silicon Valley Symposium Series. This is a special section. As you probably know that we have ourselves, students, who are doing the presentation. For those of you who are new here to the GTI program presentation, I would like to spend a few minutes to walk through the GTI program, and that they will do the trips and the reflection of their work. First of all, how many of you are thinking about applying for GTI? Only a few hands here? Okay. For those of you who are just been here because your instructor or other faculty member asked you to be there, I hope this is just the opportunity to open your eyes. You probably didn't know what GTI is all about. GTI stands for Global Technology Initiative, was established in year 2004. So when we look back, it's about 13 years ago. At that time, the College of Engineering, under the leadership of the former Dean of Engineering, Professor Bill Wei, who has received an endowment for about $1 million US. Okay, so the endowment came from the industry CEOs and professionals. They're chipping the $1 million to help you, the future engineering students, to go abroad to get the first-hand information by talking to the people over there. And so that when you work in the field, when you graduate, you work in the Silicon Valley, you will be able to interface with all engineers in different disciplines. No matter what kind of engineering program you are, but you'll be able to interface with those people overseas. For example, your company doing the design, doing the manufacturing, doing the service, doing all kinds of activities that require the China, India, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, and other parts of the world to help you achieve the goal. And how would you be able to interface with those engineers overseas when you just been in this country for so long? So with this type of GTI program that will open your eye, talk about a language without offending anyone, to make a collegial manner so your work will be done quickly, efficiently, and effectively. And so all in all, this $1 million is for you to brighten your future, to open your eyes, to make your career successful. So with that, Professor Jacob Tsao, who is the professor with Industrial System Engineering, upstairs, fourth floor, he pioneered. He took 25 students along with several administrators to go to China and Taiwan for 2 weeks. And the following 3 years, from 2004 to 2006, he did 3 years, and in 2007 to 2010, Professor Raghu Agarwal from mechanical engineering took over, and he took students to India for 2 weeks. But later, we find out the money, is not sufficient to support this type of intensive travel, because we didn't touch the $1 million principle. We used the accrued interest to do the travel. And as a result, in 2010, when I took over, and we started to revamp the program. Even though I did, for the first 2 years, took a student to China and Taiwan for 2 weeks. We went to Beijing, Shanghai, Xi'an, and all part of China and Taiwan to visit companies, universities. But that expense was way too much to be sustainable. So 2012, we revamped the program by having our students go to Taiwan only at the CYCU, which is Chongyuan Christian University, CYCU, for 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks. In that, they participate in 4 components: lectures, team projects, company business trips, and cultural trips. In that, they all learn a great deal. So today is the opportunity for them to present to you what they have learned from July 10th till July 31st this year. Any successful program cannot be done without other people's help. So here I'd like to acknowledge a few people in the audience here. Professor Bruce Reynolds, can you stand up, being recognized? Thank you. Professor Reynolds has been the instructor for Tech 198. If you're chosen to be the candidate for GTI Scholar, you will be required to take a one-semester course that usually is spring. In this case, it will be spring 2017. You sign up for the course, and then by May, you will be eligible to fly out to Taiwan. And also, I'd like to acknowledge Professor Patricia Backer, who has been helping in organizing and coordinating the work. And I also see the audience, Associate Vice President, Professor Thalia Agnos. Could you be recognized? She is also instrumental. She helped allow students get funding to help them travel, as well as encourage a lot of engineers, students to take this opportunity to open up their career path. And I also see a few faces here, Laura and Lisa, who are also with the College of Engineering and help out the GTI program. Thank you very much. So I'll quickly go through the requirement for GTI. GTI, the application deadline is Friday, 5 p.m., October 21st. So you still have a little bit time to submit everything online. Okay, if you go to the GTI application under College of Engineering, you will be able to see the application online. Just submit by 5 p.m., October 21st. And in addition, you need to submit your transcript, unofficial transcript, to the Dean's office in 493. And then you complete your application. And after that, November the 4th, we will evaluate, based on the paperwork, who has made a cut to the semi-finalist. And you'll be notified. If you make it, you'll be invited to a face-to-face interview. And that will be conducted from November 14 to November 18. And by December 2nd, the finalists will be chosen. And then you have to sign up for Tech 198 class that allows you to prepare for your travel and also for your knowledge in Taiwan. Any questions about the application process? So who will be eligible to apply? Good GPA, of course, must be 2.5 above. And you must have permanent residence visa, permanent PR resident visa, or US citizen. And you also need to show you have some engineering work, some leadership in the student clubs, and volunteer in the community. Shows your potential, because this program is prepared for future engineering leaders, like many of you here. Okay, so you need to show that. Finally, but not the least, to show how this GTI program is going to benefit you in your career, to convince judges that I'm the one to be chosen for this trip. Okay, so if you cannot deliver that, you might not be able to be chosen for the finalists. Any other questions? Do I miss out anything? So you could still ask questions. So here's the process for today. These 16 people. Could you all stand up? Here, Lorena on my right-hand side. Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. Yeah, these people, like many of you here, to start with a lot of wondering why I should be there and why should I do it. And it took a whole year preparation, starting from now till July, when they actually fly out. Many of them the first time flying out to Asia by themselves. Remember, no faculty traveling with them. It's all by themselves. I only sent them to the airport, and they just took off. 3 weeks in Taiwan, they basically get into a totally unknown world, and they survive. Okay? So they'll show you what they have learned. So today, the process, as I said, will be 4 areas. Starting out with the business, means the company tours. And the reason to do that is because Lorenzo already did a nice videotape to show you how they depart from the airport and go over to Taiwan. So that's why they go first. And then the second one will be the lectures. They took some lectures from the world-renowned experts at the CYCU. And then the teamwork. They work with several hundred students from all over the world at CYCU on their team projects. And lastly, the cultural trips during the weekend. Okay, so they'll present about 8 minutes with about 2 minutes for Q&A, and hopefully wrap up entire 50 minutes. Any questions? Anything that burning issue you want to take care right now? Otherwise, I'll pass on to Lorenzo. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lorenzo Pacino, and man, this experience was probably one of the best experiences of my life, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, you get engineering experience, you're traveling the world, and you're working with people from a whole bunch of different countries. And this is just a little video I made of our experience.
Hello. Hello.
I knew my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay though. But I got just enough to get off in this club and have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now. Ooh, I want the time of my life. It's worldwide. Oh, baby. Ooh, give me the time of my life.
Neo, let's get it. This is the last $20 I got, but I'ma have a good time ballin' in that. Tell the bartender, line up some sides, cause I'ma get loose tonight. She's on fire, she's so hot, I'm no liar. She burned up the spot, look like Mariah. I take another shot, hold it, drop it like it's hot. Dirty talk, dirty dance. She a freaky girl, and I'm a freaky man. She on the rebound, broke up with an ex, and I'm like Rodman, ready on deck. I told her wanna ride out, and she said yes. We didn't go to church, but I got
I knew
blessed.
my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay though. But I got just enough to get off in this club and have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now. Ooh, I want the time of my life. Yeah. Oh, baby. Ooh, give me the time of my life. Let's get it now.
Tonight I'ma lose my mind. Better get yours, cause I'm gon' get mine. Party every night, like my last. Mom, you know the drill. Shake that ass. Go ahead, baby, let me see what you got. You know you got the biggest booty in this spot. And I just wanna see that thing drop. From the back to the front to the top. You know me, I'm off in the cut. Always like a squirrel, looking for a nut. This is up for show, I'm not talking about luck. I'm not talking about love, I'm talking about lust. Now let's get loose, have some fun. Forget about bills in the first of the month. It's my night, your night, our night. Let's turn it up.
I knew my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay though. But I got just enough to get up in this club and have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now. Ooh, I want the time of my life. Yeah. Oh, baby. Ooh, give me the time of my life. Let's get it now. Everybody gon' do something. Everybody gon' do something. Everybody gon' do something. Everybody gon' do so you might as well roll it up, drink it up, throw it up tonight. Oh, yeah. So everybody gon' do something. Everybody gon' do something. Everybody gon' do something. So you might as well roll it up, drink it up, throw it up tonight.
everybody going through tough times. Believe me, been there, done that. But every day above ground is a great day. Remember that.
I knew my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay though. But I got just enough to get off in this club. Have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now. Let's get it now.
I feel so close to you right now, it's a force field. I wear my heart up on my sleeve like a big deal. Your love pours down on me, surround me like a waterfall. And there's no stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now. So close to you right now. No stopping us right now. And there's no stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now.
try to stop me, it's gonna be some dreadhead niggas in your lobby. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. Just another day at the pick up on the mail. They gon' channel riding through the streets, they be like, there you go. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. Just another day at the pick up on the mail. They gon' channel riding through the streets, they be like, there you go. Ooh, I just come and put the hinges in their hand. Counting bitches while we meet and make them shake my other hand. Millie rockin', scooping all the blessings on my lap. Bitch, I know you tried to cheat, you should've never took a nap. Hey, fuck wrong with you, what you were thinking? Fuck you thought it was. You talk that make a lame ass nigga fall in love. Not me though, bitch, you could keep those. Bro, I'm at your head like Craig did Debo. Don't tweak, bro, it's never sweet out. My shooters come for free, so if one more label try to stop me, it's gonna be some dreadhead niggas in your lobby. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. Yup. Pull up in a new thing, they might do want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me.
Tobacco. Where the hell you get them from? You just say he ain't made them. My nigga chasing bounty hunters and getting everybody baby.
I just got stung right here. I was in the ocean for 0.3 seconds.
Some of the shit may sound weird.
Dang.
Inside of the Maybach.
Awesome.
Run shit like that will. Big y'all know pie still. I'm high capping. Alright. I'm so high. Me and God dapping. This my blessing, this my passion. School of hard knocks, I took night classes.
You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. Yup. Pull up in a new thing, they might. They feel like I got problems bigger than these boys.
Catching all the waves, bro.
They be on steroids. Free the Carter, niggas need the Carter. Sacrificing everything, I feel like Carter. I got it sold up, my soda pulled up, my woes up. I'm flipping those bucks, they doing toe tucks. I roll up and let the smoke puff. I lay down toes up, hold up, get too choked up and I think of old stuff. Move on, put my goons on, they kidnap newborns. In the streets, my face a coupon, her pussy too warm. All these bitches come to do harm, just bought a new charm. Fuck a watch, I buy your new arm. You new arm, I'm overlook with the hoes. Pretty bitches centerfolds, tipping toes around my crib. In they rolls, just they robes. $500,000 is safe, another in the pillowcase. Codeine got me moving slower than a caterpillar race. Fuck wrong with you, what you was thinking, what you thought it was. I just pop out Percocets and only call the buzz. And if that label try to stop me, they gon' do some crazy. Weezy fans waiting in the lobby. No like that. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. Just another day at the pick up on the mail. They gon' channel riding through the street, they be like, there you go. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. Just another day at the pick up on the mail. They gon' channel riding through the street, they be like, there you go. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. We might be on no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me. You don't want no problem with me.
Hello everybody, my name is Lorenzo Pacino. I'm KJ John. And our research project was on thermophysical property measurements for aqueous tertiary alkylamine solutions as CO2 absorbents. I mean, I guess you can say we're trying to save the world, but we're no heroes.
All right, that's no more. This is the sad part.
That's like 15 minutes.
All right, let's get to business. Yeah, I mean, obviously from the video you can see that we had, so I'm Lorenzo Pacino, biomedical engineer, graduating spring 2017.
Hey guys, my name is Alex Lim. I'm fourth year electrical engineer, graduating in May.
I'm Jonathan Wong, electrical engineering major, graduating next fall 2017.
My name is Arthur Jen. I'm industrial systems engineering. I'm graduating eventually.
So we went to multiple places. So one of the field trips places that we went to was the Industrial Technology Research Institute. And this company has played a big part from turning Taiwan from a labor-based country into more of a high-tech based company. And their mission goals include R&D key technologies, stimulate and drive industrial development, generate economic value, and elevate social well-being. So some of their achievements include over 21,000 patents. They have multiple R&D award products, and R&D award 100 award products are products that are recognized to have high potential for commercialization. This company has multiple international partners, and 3 major application domains include smart living, quality health, sustainable environment.
All right. This is Hsinchu Science Park. It's their Silicon Valley over there. They called it it's their Silicon Valley because it's their kind of tech area. They called it that area because so our area is kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but there's universities here, and we have a real big focus on technology, and that's what they wanted to do there. So they called it their Silicon Valley. It's next to their universities. And here are a couple of their companies that they started. The TSMC is one of their semiconductor companies, and it's one of the biggest in the world. They ship to all over, including like Apple and stuff like that.
So throughout the whole trip, we got to go on several field trips. And one of the companies that I picked out was Pacific Cycles. It's kind of like a factory museum. It's a bicycle factory and also an international designer workshop that provides facilities for 40 different companies to produce bicycles. And it's been manufacturing for over 30 years, based in Taiwan. And they produce these unique, it's in a small scale form, bicycles designed not for mass production. And they have about 500 different models, but they also produce maybe like a handful of bikes. And you can see one of the examples is the Birdie. It's like, it's kind of like a bicycle that you haven't really seen in the US. It's kind of small wheels. And it's like unorthodox, I guess, to say. They had like a ton of them. And they also won numerous design awards for their bicycles. And for the museum, they actually displayed all the models of bicycles that they produced. And like this is like one wall of maybe like 50. So yeah, you can tell like there's a bunch. And they also offer test rides for like electric motored bicycles, maybe like the foldable bicycles and several more. So yeah, it's cool.
So in Taiwan, they do trash collection a little different. They have these bright yellow trucks that go around playing classical music. And instead of picking up garbage cans, the people actually rush to the truck and throw in their own garbage. So it's more exciting there. And you may wonder what happens with this trash. Well, some of it goes to these incineration plants. The one we visited was located in Bali. And the trash is dumped by the trucks into the incineration plant, into a disposal area. Then from there, a crane operator uses the crane to pick up the trash and put it into an incinerator. In this one, they have 3 there, and each of those is capable of burning 450 tons of waste per day. And this excess thermal energy from the burning of the trash is converted to electricity, and that electricity gets sent to consumers. And it can supply about 20,000 households per month. Another aspect of the incineration plant is that they also don't focus solely on profits. They also focus on environmental protection and contributing to the surrounding community. So at first there was a big protest from the local citizens about having a trash incineration plant in their community, but they integrated these various different centers and places that actually gave back to the community.
All right, questions? Comments, concerns?
I know that this might not sound very informative and stuff, but like, if you guys go, you guys will learn a lot more. And I know a lot of you guys are like, I'm not gonna go to this thing, you know, but
show the video first.
yeah, but like,
Some justice.
like it's I don't know, it's a really cool experience. And if any of you guys are on the fence about it, I really suggest like just applying to it, even if you're not really sure about it, because like it's I don't know, it's really
You'll miss your window by
yeah
Friday.
yeah it's way more than just what it looks like, you know. It's actually really cool, and you guys should. Oh yeah.
So what if it's your first semester, so technically you don't have a GPA?
You should apply.
No, I'm saying you still apply.
Oh.
I was curious about that.
But you're in high school.
I think we'll probably hold that until finish presentation. How about that? Because we still rush about 20-some minutes to have 3 presentations. I'll answer your question. Thank you.
We'll get to you. Thank you.
Yeah, feel free to, you guys can contact us as well individually.
Team projects. We're third? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Sorry.
We're gonna go stand over there. Go stand over there. We just start introduction. Hi everyone, my name. Yeah, okay, sorry. Hi everyone, my name is Jani. I'm a biomedical engineer and I will be graduating spring 2017.
Hello, I am Marianne Madrano, civil engineer, and I am graduating spring 17.
Hi everyone, my name is Vincent Chow. I am an electrical engineering student and I'm graduating this December.
And my name is Gerardo. I'm a graduating senior in civil engineering, and I graduate this December as well. Dr. John, the lecture's presentation.
Something wrong?
Where's the lecture's presentation?
Someone else needs to start. Technical difficulties. We can take questions later after this presentation, if that's fine. Okay. Okay. So, I don't want to myself. So to start out our presentation, the first half of the lectures will be from the IIALE group, which is the engineering group. And in lecture 1, it was basically an introduction to Taiwan by Professor Dylan Sung from CYCU. And the two main topics that he discussed were cultural and educational values. So in Taiwan, cultural values include filial piety, which is basically one's duty of respect for one's parents and elderly family members. So when you're older, your duty is to take care of your parents. And another thing in Taiwan is that they see things in holistic views. So basically, if I were to give you like 3 lists of words, like dog, seagull, and sky, how would you group these? Would you group the dog and the seagull because they're animals, or the seagull and sky because seagulls fly in the sky? Well, in Taiwan, they would actually group the seagull and the sky because it's actually a holistic view of the picture. And when it comes to educational values, in Taiwan, the professors and teachers actually act as a life mentor, which throughout your whole life. And also, students in Taiwan tend to listen more than actually challenge the professors, which is pretty much the opposite here in America. And next is the lecture 2, which was given by Matthew Petering from University of Milwaukee. And he basically talked about the operational challenges in the global container shipping industry. And 2 main challenges that he talked about were the planning and operational decisions. So when it comes to planning, you have to take into consideration of challenges such as like what type of cargo will you be handling and how will you organize these cargo shipments onto vessels, right? And when it comes to like operational decisions, you have to think about what type of equipment you will be using to handle the cargo, and also who you will assign to actually work on vessels. And so the challenge with like decision making is that you actually get an average of 1 second to make these decisions, which is very stressful and is a lot of pressure, right? And that's really challenging. So when it comes to like poor planning and poor decision making, it can result in accidents, such as you can see in this picture, where there's an imbalanced weight of these cargoes that were put on these vessels. So what happened is that the vessel would actually tip over, and sometimes they would even crack in half. Now I will be handing it over to Vincent.
All right, so with the next 2 lectures that the engineering track had, the first one was by Professor Joe Vanstrom of Iowa State University. And when he began this lecture, he approached it with the idea that a majority of the audience wasn't from the United States. There were students from Taiwan, from China, from Japan, from the Philippines, all these other countries who've never even been to the United States. So the beginning of his lecture, he actually began with just introducing where Iowa State University was, different places in the United States, just giving people kind of an idea of what the United States is like so that you can get an idea of where he's coming from. And his primary topic of his lecture was manufacturing processes, including things such as 3D printing, processes such as subtractive, additive, and I forget the last one. But he brought in several actual 3D printed models from his own laboratory, and several of these included functional moving parts and showed that these can be scaled up to industrial size with just the technology we have right now. The next lecture by Professor Sen Nye in the Catholic University of America, he was actually a student from Taiwan, but completed his doctorate in Washington, D.C. at this university. His primary focus of his lecture was energy and power systems, such as like utility systems, environmental impacts such as ozone depletion and pollution, and green energy and power in Taiwan, because that is the area he's most familiar with. Next, Marianne.
Lecture 5 was Thinking Outside the Box, Innovation and Creativity by Professor George Hong from Wright State University. I thought he was interesting because like Wright State, where's that? Oh, right, like the Wright brothers. And in his lecture, he was saying that education can come from anywhere, and ideas can come from anywhere. The Wright brothers, they didn't finish college, and only one of them finished high school, and they invented airplanes. And you can get your inspiration from anywhere. One of the things he's working on was a study on how hummingbirds flap their wings. And one of my favorite quotes from him from this lecture was, what you learn in schools is important, but how you apply them is what's essential. And then this last lecture was where the power industry is heading. And basically it's smart grids are where we are. What are we trying to do? Because we're trying to integrate more renewable resources to supply our electrical energy. But then like solar power is very like up and down because the sun's up and then it's down. So we're trying to find ways to use smart grids to use that. And also we used his lecture in our presentation in Taiwan for our final presentation.
Just because we're running short on time, I'll make this short and sweet. So I was part of the ELE track, and ours was a little different. Ours was more tailored to helping out one of 3 companies come up with an idea to either help them gain more popularity or to somehow gain more revenue. In our first lecture, it was not Ming Lee, but Po Lee who led the presentation, and it was more of an icebreaker. And in this picture here, there were about 30 to 40 students in the ELE track, and we somehow had to fit ourselves all in a 6x6 square, and we failed many times, but it was fun because we just kept encouraging each other. This for lecture 2 and 3, we had Heng Chu, who has won a few awards for his 30-second commercials, and he helped us learn the fundamentals of writing a good script and developing a good short film. And in this picture here, we're making a scene on paper and including dialogue for when a scene that includes a girl slapping a guy, and we kind of had to make that up, and that was pretty fun. Oh, and then for the third lecture, we actually made the film and then went into the computer lab and edited it. For the fourth lecture, we had fourth and fifth lecture, we had Ming Lee, and in the first one, it was sort of an extension of the short film. And essentially, he covered like how to tell a good story, how to edit a film, and how to share the value of the company within the film. For the next lecture, he showed us different ways on how to market the product, and then he even went on to mention how virtual reality, the VR, is going to become a new tool to market products. And then for the sixth lecture, we had presenters from Japan, and they, Hiraoki, in the beginning, he kind of had us do like a self-assessment on life, and we wrote in these small journals, and we judged where we were in life. And then Hane kind of went on to talk about her business of selling rusk in Japan and multiple outlets on how to reach customers. And here in this picture, at the end of the presentation, we kind of learned how to do this Japanese dance, and that was a lot of fun. And for lecture 7, we had Cynthia Lee present, and she talked about different risks that come along with a company. And in that photo there, I have my group, and we presented, our company was Shangluan Pears, and we had to think about competitors or any kind of natural disasters that can hurt the company for making pears. And that is it. Thank you.
Hi guys, so my name's Tony. I'm an industrial and systems engineer, and yeah, we're going to be talking about the team projects, so the projects that we actually did for this program.
Hello, my name's Michelle Espinosa. My major is mechanical engineering, and I'll be graduating 2018.
Hi, my name's Anthony Aliaga, and my major is civil and environmental engineering.
Hello, I'm Brent. I'm a computer engineer, and I'll be graduating fall 2018.
So, mainly the overview of our presentation is on the projects. There were 3 different groups that you could choose from. Ideally, there were 2 groups in engineering and 1 in business. The full name is the International Industrial Entrepreneurial Leadership Experience, or the Academic Leadership Experience. And this is where you will at least divide on whether you want to go on a business route or continue an engineering route with your research.
So if you do plan to apply, there is a process of choosing the project you want. You'll get a list of all the projects that are going to be available when you go to Taiwan. You're going to rate them from your first choice to your last choice. And so after that, once you arrive to Taiwan, you'll know who your group is. So you don't know what project you'll get until you arrive at Taiwan.
Okay, so I took the business track, the ELE track, and I'm just going to talk briefly about the startups we work with. Obviously, it will be different for the next year, but just to give you an idea of the kind of companies we worked with. There was Fantasy Story, which was basically what they did was they leased out really old, like underused buildings, and they revamped them to house upcoming businesses. So basically they were like mini incubators. And that was the company that I worked with. The other company was Shanglang Pear, which they sold Asian pears to get, to support local businesses and support their schools. And then the final one was Green Hope Spring, which was, they produced tea leaves to preserve the life of an endangered camphor. So a little bit about the projects. What we did was we brainstormed a new idea that would kind of bolster the business. That took a lot of the lectures that we had, gave us some idea and some, introspect into how we could do that. After that, we created a short film in that film class, and then we, for our idea, we had to build a business model and prove why it would help. So that was a very impactful thing, I think. It helped us like kind of zone in and come up with a single solution. Yeah, and that was a business track.
So from the engineering side, we had to originally get to choose from 8 different topics on one team and 8 different topics on another team. All these topics were arranged from biomedical engineering to electrical engineering, computer, civil engineering, or environmental analysis. And it's really geared to anything you want to study. Later on, there'll be a video that'll show more of what each team was working on hands-on, but this was from Group A initially. Lorenzo was working on this one up top with CO2 absorbance, and that's where he was really involved in the lab and more hands-on testing. Then there's also other ones where you're developing tracking systems for microscopes, which was a pretty cool project overall. My project that I got to participate on was the nanomechanical properties of gold nanowires, and we got to do computer simulations and investigations through that. Michelle was also participating on a couple projects in this group as well.
So I'm going to go talk about my engineering project. So the topic that I chose in the program was vision-based interactive multimedia systems. Once you land into the country and get situated, you'll enter your lab room and you'll be able to meet with your lab mates. One of the first tasks you would do is brainstorm some ideas on why you chose this topic. The reason why I chose this is because I believe that there was a potential in vision-based systems, such as the virtual reality market that we have here in America. So we developed this vision base using not virtual reality, but more physical. So we started developing, or actually we started talking about our hobbies. And one of our hobbies is video games. So one of the cool parts is that we integrated the Xbox 360 Kinect and used that in our project. So for the next 2 weeks, in the next 2 weeks, we started developing programs for it. And as you can see to your right, we utilize a projector and a Xbox 360 Kinect. We also utilize its sensors such as infrared and its vision-based systems. And the two programs that we created was in the bottom, a sandbox using topography, and in the top where we created a game where you use that topography system to build Taiwan. Overall, our project placed third in the competition.
So my group, though, I was in the designing a 4-axis industrial robot arm. I won't go too in detail about what I did for this project. I'll tell you more about the opportunities you have. While if you do decide to get into the GTI program. So as students, we're taking these classes and we're learning these skills. Some of them maybe Arduino, Creo. So you get the chance to actually apply these skills and to design a robot arm. So that's really something that you get to experience there. We also did 3D printing a lot for our group. So you also get to design, for our group, there was 3 of us designing different parts. So all of us got to get the chance to like maybe incorporate some part of our design into our final product. And then we also worked with a master student at CYCU. So you get to learn about what projects they're researching and implement on their ideas and improve it. So then we also, for the project competition, you're presenting in front of professors and students. And then your presentation is evaluated. And then towards the end, like I think the last day, you're in a banquet and they'll announce the winners there. So a lot of us actually won prizes. My team won second prize. Anthony's team won first place. I believe for Group B, there was another group that won third place. So yeah, that was amazing.
So this is a video basically about some of the research projects and what the teams were able to develop overall. So mainly starting out, there were other developments as far as biomedical systems and more research-based computer work. Here was more a CG return signal for emergency assistance. That was Lorenzo's. CO2 absorbent. That was Jenny and my project on nanomaterial simulations. And although we were developed and split up into different teams, each group was just kind of getting the opportunity to work within the engineering building, whether it was on different floors or in different labs. And so you kind of get more of a hands-on feel with being independent and having your own group work, as well as working together and trying to identify how to accomplish certain problems, how to make key milestones, how to achieve goals within your 3-week time frame.
So we won't show too many of the slides because we're running short on time. So we'll just show like 1 or 2 more.
Yeah. But overall, it's a very it's a very rewarding experience that everybody gets as an engineering student or as a student throughout your college career. Definitely pursuing something like this was something that I always wanted to do with my college career overall, and it gives you very, very much a leg up on any competition for working internationally with other companies if you want to do that with your future or pursue something different. But overall, it's a really great experience. Thank you.
Hello? Hello?
So hello everybody, my name is Miguel Ibarra. I'm a fourth year mechanical engineering student. I graduate 2018.
I'm Tao Nguyen. I'm a fourth year materials engineering student. I'll hopefully graduate next semester.
I'm Renzi Lin. I'm an industrial system engineer. I'll be graduating in spring 17.
I'm Maria Ramirez. I am a chemical engineer and I'll be graduating spring 2017.
So during our stay in Taiwan, you go to 2 cultural trips, one each week on Saturdays. For the first cultural trip, we went to the Formosa Aborigines Cultural Village. Right after that, we go to another location, which was the Sun Moon Lake, followed by the Feng Jing Night Market. It's one of the largest night markets in Taiwan. And then, yes. And then in the following cultural trip, we went to Yilong Dingshang River Park, as you saw in Lorenzo's video, which was when we went to the water park. The following went to Yangling Museum, and then we went to Wang Beach, where Lorenzo and Arthur got stung by jellyfish.
Sorry about that. So the first place we went to was Formosa Aboriginal Culture Village. You saw they had like people came over and we danced with them, and there were a lot of amusement rides and cultural shows. It was really cool. We should have more pictures, but they did have sites where you could see like places where the actual tribes were, and you could even do archery. Really, it was really cool.
So I'm just gonna quickly go over the highlights since most of you guys saw these in the previous video that Lorenzo showed. So for the Sun Moon Lake, I believe it was mainly for just sceneries, and well, I'm all about food, so that's why I put this picture of this. I guess it's like a local specialty that's just chicken skin wrap, and inside they're filled with like seasoning rice. Was one of like the best food I had that day. Yeah.
So pretty much night markets in Taiwan are very, very crowded. It's like a traffic jam with a bunch of people just walking everywhere. My favorite part of the night market was really interacting with like the other students from Taiwan, and I got to learn a lot from them and their culture and their customs and things that they do, they don't do, and I think that was the most interesting part.
When we went to River Park, we were also able to participate in dragon boat racing. As you can see in the bottom left video, we were also able to go on the rides. It's kind of a big river park, and we were able to see like the differences from their river parks, or their water parks compared to our water parks, and how like over there it's more open, and like just they're a lot bigger too compared to over here where we have a lot more rides though.
And one of the last places we went to in the second week was Lanyang Museum. It was actually really cool. You saw the architecture where it looked like, and then that's the inside of it. And inside they also had like exhibits where you could just see more parts of Taiwanese culture. It was really pretty.
Yeah, so this was also on the second week where we went on the beach, and I'm not sure if anyone mentioned this earlier, but on the 2 or 3 Sundays we have free time where we could go anywhere we want to explore in Taiwan. So here where Lorenzo and others went on surfing and parasailing. This was during a Sunday, I believe. Yeah, so you can actually choose where you want to go. And a couple of us went to Taipei to visit Taipei 101, which is one of the tallest building, well, the tallest building in Taiwan. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Any questions?
Thank you.